going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. First off, I want to say thank you to all you guys who are subscribed to the channel, liking my videos. I really appreciate it. It shows that things that I'm putting into the videos you guys are actually viewing and liking, so I really appreciate it. Hitting over 100 subs, that's a pretty big milestone for me. Didn't know where this was gonna go, but I really appreciate your support. Thanks a lot. But in this video, we are going to be talking about the most versatile lens that they make. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't think that would end so quickly. But today we're going to be talking about this guy right here. This is Canon's 24-105. Now, a little bit of backstory for you guys. When I started out photography, I've actually owned 3 24-105s. Back, I think when the 5D launched, they had a version 1. It was an EF 24-105 version 1. Then there was a 24-105 version 2, which improved it on a little bit. And then there is the most recent RF 24-105. Now, all these lenses are basically the same focal length. It's got the f4 aperture throughout the range, and basically it's meant to be, you know, sort of the all-around, middle of the road, great versatile lens in the Canon lineup. And I agree, I think it has been. But here's the catch. I actually never used my first one that came with my 5D or the 5D Mark II, whatever, I don't exactly remember. But first one, version 1, gave it to my brother. Version 2, I've had it on the shelf for 2 years or 3 years maybe, and I just never used it. And now here I am. I just picked up a second EOS R, and I did a smart decision here, and I bought it with the 24-105, also the kit lens. The reason being is you can kind of save a little bit of money when you get the kit, I think. So if you guys have been following this channel, if you're new to this channel, I'm particularly a prime guy user. I shoot the 35, 50, and the 85. Those are my bread and butter for a majority of my professional work. So back to the 24-105, f4, mind you. Now, most of the time I'm not shooting at f4. As you guys know, I love to shoot super shallow depth of field. So it makes you wonder as a professional, well, this lens is not good enough for me. It's not a 2.8, you know, and I'll be honest, the difference between, in low light capabilities, the difference between an f4 and f2.8 are not that dramatic. In fact, it's a one-stop difference, true, which is, I mean, with the cameras being able to hit that ISO at 6400, you really shouldn't have a problem with f4 unless you're in an extremely dark situation, which you probably will come across at a wedding. But as a general purpose lens, this thing is just so much lighter. The RF version of this lens is actually quite a bit lighter than the latest EF version, which is the EF version 2. And I had that, and I sold that. I actually had it in a box for about 2 years, and I never used it. I know it's sad, but I don't know. I had that crave. I had that just like, hey man, I'm a professional. I gotta use my 2.8 lenses. I gotta use my prime lenses, and f4 was never good enough for me. So I remember a few years back, me and my wife, we took a trip out to China, and we carried a 7200, 2470, 1635, because I had to get everything, right? It was a once in a lifetime trip. We traveled to about 9 cities in about 13 days. It was very intensive. I didn't have an actual camera bag per se, because it was super hot, and I knew that we were going to do a lot of hiking and walking, so I actually carried a hydration pack. So it didn't really have the proper slots or the proper suspension to carry gear, but it was an intensive trip, and it was not fun. Yeah, sure, I got some amazing images, great video of us, but it was not a fun trip to carry 3 professional grade lenses on a trip like that. If I look back, I think I would have really been satisfied enough if I just carried this one lens. Now, the 24-105 is a lot lighter than the 2.8, obviously, because of the size of the glass. It's smaller, it's more compact, and it goes into the 105 range versus the 70 that it tops out at. And this is probably the one lens I might carry. It might not be able to reach as far, I might not be able to shoot as wide, but it's one solution and it's light. It's just more fun to use. Sometimes it's about just kind of getting everything in one package. The 24-105 also carries Canon's legendary red ring. I mean, that basically means it uses glass and elements that produce better imagery, nice creamy colors, and it has this contrasty images that the consumer grade glass doesn't offer. It also carries 5 stops of image stabilization, the latest version. So a lot of you guys might say, hey, it's an f4, it's not professional grade, and I'll be honest, I used to think the same. I mean, I was shooting only 2.8, if not the prime lenses at the time. f4 is just not pro. What's also an interesting thing about shooting in f4, I mean, you know, throughout my lifetime as a wedding photographer, a portrait photographer, shooting with prime lenses, most of the time I'm shooting at 1.4, 1.2, 1.8. And to be honest, you can make amazing, I mean, you can give anybody a 35, set it at 1.4, and they can shoot amazing images. I mean, it will blow out the background. You get close enough to the subject, that is. You will blow out the background, create this beautiful bokeh effect, and the background is just going to be so beautiful. And to be honest, how do you get an image wrong that way? Everything looks great. If you have decent composition, beautiful image. I realized with an f4, you actually have to work the image a little bit. You need to start searching for foregrounds and really make sure you distance yourself from the background to create images. Now, at 105 at f4, you can still create amazing portraits. That's what I mean by this being so versatile. At 24, you can shoot some beautiful landscape, cityscape type images, and at 105, even at f4, you can still create amazing, buttery, beautiful, blown out backgrounds in terms of portraits. Either set your subject further away from the background or move yourself closer to the subject as close as possible at 105. Even at f4, you can create amazing images. Guys, with that said, I think that this lens is really the key factor. I think if you guys were to move into any Canon system, I think this is a highly recommended lens. I think you should definitely get one, pick one up. It's totally worth it. Even if you're not using it for your professional work, it's just so nice to have to shoot your family, shoot your kids growing up, going to family events and not carrying a bag full of glass and looking like, hey man, that's serious. That's the professional photographer. No, that's my uncle. Like, that just doesn't make any sense. I much prefer to go in with this, shoot things, create moments, document what's going on, and I think it's just totally worth it. Now, at I think about $800 or $900, you can probably find this online. It's such a versatile lens and totally worth keeping in your bag. Because I'm starting to find that I am using this lens as I get older, as my kid is growing up. It's just that one lens solution that I want to have in my bag at the ready to go. Just pick it up, shoot, and create some images. Guys, with that said, thank you for joining me on this channel. Leave a comment down below if you guys have questions about the lens, and I'll also leave a link in the description where you guys can pick it up. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next video.